So when we think about people that are just physically dominant at the high school level, you instantly think of someone like, in the past it would have been LeBron James, and in recent years Zion Williamson. Since the time Zion Williamson pretty much set foot in high school, he was like a man playing amongst boys, and especially in his senior season, it was pretty much unfair watching him play against high school players. And for that reason, a lot of people, myself included, were kind of a little bit worried about how he was going to get on the next level in college. Obviously, Zion is just a complete freak athlete and is without doubt going to be a top 3 pick in the 2019 NBA draft. There's no doubt about that. He's done unbelievably well for Duke. The same thing can't be said about the guy who I'm making this video about. While not as much of a freak athlete as guys like LeBron James and Zion, this guy was a boy amongst men. He had an NBA body at the end of his sophomore year and was the most dominant player in high school in the class of 2008. And at one stage was the number 1 ranked player in that high school class. And that player is Samardo Samuels. So before we get on to the video, I'd just like to say we are doing a daily December. We're uploading a video every single day. So today is obviously the 14th of December. We've done 14 in 14 days. So we've got another 17 to go. So if you guys like basketball content, subscribe. There's still a lot more videos to come out from this channel. And also, we are trying to hit 80,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if we could hit that, that would be unbelievable. Right now, we're above 78,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Especially since when we started, we were at like 63,000 subscribers. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So in Samuel's sophomore year, he was 6'8", 250 pounds. He had an NBA body, and scouts noted that he actually ran the floor really well, and he worked quite hard for someone of his bulk. And he was compared to guys like Elton Brand, but he had no real outside game and was just a huge body. His junior year is when people started calling him the best player in the nation. He slimmed down a little bit, and they say he was a chiseled 240 pounds, as well as a lot of people had doubts about his motor. He became arguably the most intense big man in high school basketball at the time. No matter where he played, no matter what scrimmage, no matter what All-American game, Jordan Brand Classic game, he went out to dominate. Over the next 2 years, he was without doubt the most dominant player in that high school basketball class. But looking back on it, there was a lot of red flags that people kind of ignored because of his dominance and the way basketball was back then. So first of all, he was a 6'8" center. And as well as being a 6'8" undersized center, he was extremely unathletic. He had almost no leaping ability for someone that height. And any of his rebounds that he got were due to intensity and his body positioning at the high school level. And he was able to get them because, again, being 6'8" is big at high school. But at the same time, he wasn't an elite rebounder at the high school level. Not a bad one, but not elite. He had absolutely no jump shot. Teams used to leave him from 15 feet and he couldn't hit a shot. So obviously he didn't have a 3-ball either. But still, this was 2007-2008. The jump shot was nowhere near as important as it is right now, and teams often ran with 2 players on the court that couldn't shoot the ball. A lot of times, teams, power forwards and centers couldn't shoot the ball, even at the NBA level. So you can kind of see why people, when they were ranking him, kind of ignored that just because of how dominant the player he was. He then went to Louisville, and straight away it was obvious that he was an overrated high school prospect. He had a decent enough freshman season on how he actually contributed to Louisville. However, for NBA teams looking at him, they wouldn't have been impressed at all with his freshman year. While Samuels was nowhere near as dominant as he was at the high school level physically, he was still a really solid player. He had a high basketball IQ, he was really efficient, but he was a back-to-the-basket big man. And to be fair to him, he had an unbelievable footwork in the post and had a really good post game. However, he had almost no explosiveness, so when there was bigger and stronger defenders than him coming up against him in college, he seemed to struggle. And while at the high school level it looked like he had a bit of a handle at the college level, it was noticeable that he just didn't. Defensively, he was decent enough moving laterally, however, he couldn't really defend big men that well. He wasn't a good shot blocker. And his lack of athleticism showed in his rebounding, especially in college. In his freshman year, he averaged only 3.6 defensive rebounds per 40 minutes. He improved a little bit in his second year in Louisville, and he did start every game for 2 years, but no one thought that he was ready to go to the NBA. And with the amount of flaws he had, especially because at the time the NBA was kind of transitioning a little bit towards the 3-point shooting NBA that it is today, obviously nowhere near the way it is now, but it was kind of transitioning a little bit towards that with more and more stretch fours playing. It was evident that his game may never translate to being an NBA player. However, after his sophomore year, to pretty much everyone's surprise, to Louisville's surprise, to fans' surprise, and to pretty much every scout's surprise, he decided to skip his final 2 years of college to enter the NBA draft. He was projected to go in the late second round in nearly every mock draft. However, he ended up going undrafted. For an undrafted player, he honestly didn't have too bad a career in the NBA. He played 3 years in the NBA, signed a 3-year, $2.5 million contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and played in over 100 games, starting 11 of them. While you mightn't see that as much, and obviously for a number 1 recruit, it definitely wasn't a lot, but for a guy who was never drafted to play over 100 games in the NBA, that's good. Because the majority of people that don't get drafted in the NBA probably won't ever play an NBA game. However, in 2013, he was waived by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that was the end of his NBA career. Since then, he has only played for one team for more than 1 season. He played for Olimpia Milano for 2 years in the Italian League and in EuroLeague. He played for Barcelona for a season in EuroLeague. However, he did only average 6 points and 2.8 rebounds in EuroLeague for Barcelona, which was not great. He then played a year in China in the CBA. And since then, he's played for a couple of teams for a couple of month stretches. And in February 2018, he signed for Limoges in the French League. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that team name. For the rest of the 17-18 season, and is still currently playing with them now. Surprisingly enough, this season he's shooting 1.2 3-pointers a game and shooting 44%, which is not bad at all, averaging 12.4 points per game. So why wasn't he a success at the NBA level? Honestly, his game just didn't suit the way the NBA was going. Had he been 10 years older and been drafted around the year 2000, I could see him having quite a solid NBA career. However, it didn't seem like he was really able to adapt his game too much. He was never really able to develop a jump shot, didn't shoot a good percentage at all from 3 until the last 2 seasons, to be honest. He was also highly overranked in terms of high school rankings. He was by far the most dominant player in high school basketball at the time, and one of the most physically dominant players we've ever seen at the high school level. While obviously not the athlete that Zion was, there's a reason why people were worried about guys who were just physical specimens like Zion at the next level because of guys like this, because maybe they weren't able to adapt their game. Obviously Zion did, but Samuels didn't. But was his basketball career a failure? No, absolutely not. He made millions of dollars, played 3 years in the NBA, has played in EuroLeague for 3 different EuroLeague teams, has played in the Spanish ACB for Barcelona, and is still currently to this day playing in Eurocup, making a great living out of basketball. So while his NBA career didn't pan out, because obviously the NBA is the best league in the world, there's no doubt about it, and to be honest, even though he may be a better basketball player than some players in the NBA, he was just too small to make a big impact with the type of game he had. And to be fair to him, unlike a lot of people who decide to just play in the G League non-stop to maybe get a chance in the NBA, he went overseas and has made a great career out of basketball. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.